G'day guys, and welcome back to another One Piece deck profile, and welcome back to another starter deck budget build profile. For those of you that may be your first time seeing one of these budget starter deck builds, basically what we do here is we take two of the starter decks and combine them together and give you guys what we think is the best build from the cards that we do have available. If you haven't seen already, we do have a Yamato one, the yellow deck, which released alongside the Luffy one here, so go check that out if you haven't. And if you do want to see a fully optimized build of the Luffy here, let us know in the comment section down below as well. Now this deck doesn't have a lot of great cards in it, a stack of vanillas, some removal options, some cost reducing options, fairly typical of Black, but this deck doesn't offer us a whole lot. So this one is a little bit rough, I'm not gonna lie, but if you like Luffy, if you like playing the color Black, this is the builder for you right here. So let's have a look at Luffy to start us off. So Luffy is a standard monocolor leader, 5,000 power, 5 life. The effect is your turn. When a character is KO'd, give up to one rested Don card to this leader. So there's a few removal options which we will have a look at. It helps you shift Don onto the Luffy, just buffing up the Luffy there. It is also not a once per turn as well, so just make a note of that there. So you can stack a few different Don on top of Luffy. First of all, let's have a look at the removal cards that we do have access to. The first one is probably one of the best ones, especially for Black in general, is Kobe, who is a 4 cost, 1,000 power, 1,000 counter. And I think that's fairly hefty for a 1k body, but the effect is activate main, you arrest this character, KO up to one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 2 or less, and that's it. Typically, Black gets you to trash a card to KO. Not this Kobe, you just got to arrest it and you can keep doing it, which is really, really nice. So as long as you can protect the Kobe multiple times, you're KOing things. Really good in this build, really good in other Black builds as well. The other removal option that we have that is probably one of the better ones as well is Gum Gum Pistol. So this is the 3 cost event. Activate main, KO one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 2, so very similar to the Kobe there. The trigger is you can draw 1. So 2 cost or less is the removal for these guys here. So we do have a few options that we can do to help reduce play cost, because there's not a lot of 2 cost or less characters running around unless you're running into Law or some old school Zoro likes to play low to the ground. We do have a couple more removal options, so we'll talk about them and then we'll go over the cards that help us reduce play cost. The next card that we have for that removal is we're running a full playset of Mr. 2, everyone's favorite One Piece character. This one costs you 5, 6,000 power, no counter. The effect is where it gets a little bit wild. Don times 1 at the end of the battle, which is character battles your opponent's character, you may KO the opponent's character you battled with. If you do, KO this character as well. So on your turn, pop a Don underneath, you can swing into pretty much anything, doesn't matter how big it is. At the end of it, you just send them both to the discard pile, the trash. That effect is also not just your turn, so it can happen on your opponent's turn as well. You just have to survive that initial battle to trigger and then trigger that effect. So just keep that in mind. But great form of removal, pretty much taking out anything. The last form of removal that we have access to is Big Boy Shanks. Now we're just running 2 of Shanks, so it is a 9 cost, 10,000 body, no counter, on play, trash a card from your hand, KO all characters with a cost of 1 or less. Now 9 cost doesn't leave you a lot to work with right there. In this build there's literally only 1 card you can play alongside with it, which is the Higuma, which negs something by 2 cost on play. You can also trigger the Uta, it just has to be out the turn before, because you can activate the cost reduction multiple times with this one, because it's an on play, so it's an activate main. So both of those are negging by 2. So if you do have both of them available to you, you can kill things that are 5 cost or less, but it is a 3 card combo that requires you to do that, plus the card you have to trash from hand. So essentially a 4 card combo that you need to be able to KO things with 5 or less. Can more easily KO things 3 or less. Otherwise, 1 or less. But we're just running the 2 because most of the time it's just going to end up being a big beat stick, which is really nice to have access to in the build. But for its effect, not super worth it to run multiple of them, because you're not going to kill a whole lot. with what's in the current meta. Unless you're running into something like a law, you're going to have a field day right there in terms of what you can remove. Now that we've spoken about the removal options that we have, let's have a look at the cards that help us reduce costs. So we've already looked at Haguma. We've got running a full play set there, so cost you 1, 2000 body, 1000 counter. On play, neg something by 2 cost for the turn. The next one we've also had a look at, which is Uta, which is a 2 cost, 3000 body, no counter. This character can't be carried by battle with leaders, which is also handy to know. And the main effect is you can rest this character, give one of your opponent's characters -2 cost for the turn. So both of them -2, as we've just spoken about before. The next one that we're running gives you a nice hefty cost reduction. It is Gum Gum Bell. Costs you 2, activate main. You can add 1 card from the top of your life to your hand, so nice draw power there. You aren't negging a life, but you do gain a card, which is nice. You give one of your opponent's characters a -7 cost during the turn. So sadly we can't use Shanks and this card at the same time. Shanks would be great if it was an 8 cost. I personally think it should have been an 8 cost. But you can quite easily activate your Gum Gum Pistol or your Kobe's alongside this one to KO things that basically cost you 9 or less. And if you have a combination of either Uta or the Haguma, you're KOing pretty much anything in the game. So you do have options to KO pretty much anything in the game, which is nice. But there are definitely other cards out there in the Black World. Just make it a little bit easier to do that. Get you a bit more value with what you can get out. All right, next we're going to have a look at the blockers. The first blocker actually helps us with that cost reduction as well to make our removal effects more live. So that first one there is Shirahoshi. So 4 cost, 0 power, 1000 counter, is a blocker on play, neg something by 4 cost during the turn. Killing things with 6 costs or less. If you have those removal options that you have there, if you have the Gum Gum Bell, yeah, you're already hitting pretty much everything in the game there. But you are going to be using pretty much all your Don there if you use that combo. So Shirahoshi's 4, the Gum Gum Bell's 2, the Kobe's 4, or the pistol is 3. So yeah, hefty Don required to get in there, but can remove things. The next blocker that we have is Vivi, 3 cost, 1000 body, 1000 counter, is a trigger to play out of life, which is actually really nice to see. And it's really nice to see that this deck actually gives you more than 1 blocker. So you got 8 blockers in the deck, which is actually really handy. Next up, we are running a full playset of Markano. So Markano is the 2k counter for the deck, so automatically a 4 of. Costs you 2 to play if you choose to play it. And if you do, if there's a character with a cost of 0 in play, you can draw a card. So that effect does come up sometimes, but it is much better used as a 2k counter in this particular deck right here. To round off the deck, as I mentioned in the beginning, we got vanillas galore in this deck. So we are running 3 of the Gaimon, which is a 2 cost, 4000 body, 1000 counter vanilla. We are running 3 of the Luffy, which is a 3 cost, 5000, 1000 counter. We are also running 3 of the Laboon, which is a 4 cost, 6000 body, 1000 counter. And to round us all up, we are running 3 of the Monkey D Garp, 5 cost, 7000 body, 1000 counter vanilla. Running 3s of all of them just because all of them can be quite nice to see. Helps you have plays whether you end up going first or second to help with those curves there. And it's also nice to just make sure you have a few of the lower cost ones just so you can build up some nice board presence when you need to go wide for certain matchups. Alright, there is the deck in all of its glory. Let us know what you think of this budget build right here. Let us know if you do want to see an optimized build for Black Luffy in the comment section down below. But thank you so much for checking out the video. Stay beautiful, and we'll see you all in the next one.